Hi everybody, my name is Jim Sprague. I'm the owner of Sprague Woodturning. Welcome to my channel. So we got a commissioned piece this week. This piece is for Vicky, and Vicky contacted me and said that she really would like to see some of this box elder burl. She just can't get enough of this stuff. And what she wants with this is a light blue resin. So we haven't done a lot of that on the channel. Transparent type turnings. I really like the pearl, so I tend to mix them maybe heavier than some people like, but that's what I like. But anyway, she wants it more translucent, so we're going to give her what she wants. Along with that, I'm going to try and core this piece and get, hopefully another 2 or 3 bowls out of the blank as well. So that's this week's video. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. Of course, that thumbs up will help with the analytics. Sharing my videos on your social media platforms is 100% a bonus as well. Please, thank you for doing that. And don't forget to leave a comment. All right, so first things first, let's get this rounded and then we'll proceed to casting. Welcome to this week's video. I've been asked to do a short little video on this circle jig that I've got here, and I will do that. Anyway, we're just prepping this piece before we put it into the mold that I want to use. And of course, just using a brass brush to clean up all those little nubs that are on this box elder burl. You definitely want these as clean as you can get them. Once the resin gets in there, you can get all kinds of stuff floating around, and that's not good. The paste wax method worked really well last time, so let's stick with that. This is the 3-gallon kit from Designer Epoxy. As you can see, there is 2 parts of A and 1 part of B. It is absolutely crucial that the mixture is mixed correctly with 2 parts A and 1 part B. All right, so that's been 3 minutes. Now for this project, I want to use the Pearl Dye Ocean Blue. And I don't want it to be very strong in color. And again, you can get these from Designer Epoxy. Start with 10 drops or so and see what that looks like. There, I think that's a beautiful ocean blue. Let's get our project that we're going to put this resin in. There, as you can see, we need just a little bit more, and then we'll be good to go for the pressure pot. And just so you know, you do not need a pressure pot. You can just leave this right on the bench as it is, and it will cure on its own as well. There. That should be ready in 48 hours. All right, we're out of the pressure pot. It's been a couple days. Now, if you remember, we put paste wax on the inside of this. Let's see how hard it is to get out. Hey. Well, that's surprising. I guess it is all right. Well, can't argue with the paste wax. It definitely works. I'm sorry, I can't remember who recommended trying that, but that's great. Thank you so much. All right, let's get it on the lathe. All right, so before we start turning, I just wanted to show you this. Now that it's lit from above, you can see how clear this is going to be. It's going to be a really cool Bunch of bowls. All right, so I'm going to be turning at 620. I just want to talk about the pressure pot here for a second. Just because I use a pressure pot doesn't mean that you need to. You can do resin casting with or without the pressure pot. I prefer to use a pressure pot like a lot of wood turners do, and a lot of people that work with resin on a smaller scale. And that's because if there's any bubbles in the work, it will compress those bubbles so small that you can't even see it. And it will also push the resin into areas that it ordinarily wouldn't flow. So that's why I use a pressure pot and why a lot of wood turners do. But it is not necessary. You do not need a pressure pot to work with epoxy. You can leave it right on the bench, and like I said, it will cure just where it sits. So like on most of my resin projects, resin/wood projects, here I'm using the Hercules, and it's just eating this stuff up. Here I've switched to the gouge just to whittle down all that wood that was sticking above the surface. I don't know if you noticed it, but the epoxy dropped almost an inch. That's how much this box elder Burl absorbed. You'll see here that I switched to I prefer to use the Hercules in this configuration straight up and down when the wood surface isn't flat. Once it's flat, then you can turn it on its side and use it like a shear scraper. All right, so we're all set up and ready to go. This is the one-way coring system. As you can see this week, I've got my tailstock extender in here. And, you know, I've got a little bit of room, but not very much. Here's the bowl laid out where you see the black marks. That's where we're going to be using the Core Pro cutter. And again, that's what it looks like if you haven't been here before. And this already has 51 cuts on it. It hasn't been flipped yet. And we're going to put another 3 on it today, hopefully, if everything goes all right. On the lathe bed, I've got it laid out so that we don't go through the bottom of each bowl. What I'm going to use is my #1 knife set. Take out the first smaller core here, and then I'll advance the rig to the next line that's on the bed here. And then take out the second bowl, and then I'll switch out to the #2 and finish off this last cut here. So that's it. Wish me luck. Thought I would try this week. I got my GoPro and my Sony running here to give you a picture-in-picture view. Let me know what you think about that. It was kind of fun to shoot. I'll just speak about the coring on these resin pieces. Ordinarily, these coring rigs are used on green wood, so when you're roughing out bowls, so you can get multiple bowls out of a block. I usually will run the cutter in about an inch before flipping the support around to follow it. With these dried pieces, well, I don't think it would matter even if it had the resin. Ironically, the resin cuts better than the wood does. So anyway, I go about a ½ inch and then I move the support in. I find that you get maybe more tool bounce using it on the dried wood. So keep that in mind if you're going to do any dry coring like I am here. 620, 620. Of the 4 bowls that I put on the glue blocks here, ironically the largest one was the most out of balance. It wasn't really a big deal. I had lots of thickness here to true it up, but even holding that piece with the mega jaws and bringing it up on the tailstock, it still was off a little bit. But not a real big deal. As long as you got the thickness to sort it out, you're golden. Just using the gouge down here to remove all this wood. It is faster than using the Hercules, that's for sure. And so anyway, that's why I switched to the gouge, just to get rid of the bulk of that wood. And then you'll see I'll eventually switch back to the Hercules because it's better at dealing with all this resin and dry burl. Up until now, the speed was 620. I know that that's important to some wood turners. I think it went up to something like 900 is where it's at now. I'll say this again, a lot of people want to know the speeds that I'm turning at. Really, the way you should do it is turn the lathe on, dial up the speed if you have a variable speed lathe. Once the piece vibrates, back the speed off until it smooths out, or it's low enough vibration that it's not going to really bother you, and then turn at that speed. Don't be turning it at 3000 RPM or anything like that. The larger the turning, the slower the speed. So just keep that in mind. I know that a lot of people are really fixated on what speeds to turn at. On work this size, I probably wouldn't go over 1000 with it. But with that said, if it's balanced, maybe I would put it up to 1200, but I don't think that I would turn it much higher than that. There's a lot of mass here. The resin really adds to the weight of these pieces. The one thing that it does do is it actually kind of stabilizes the wood. So you typically don't have heavy and light spots within these bowls. So that's another benefit of the resin. With that said, you'll see here in a couple seconds that there are some soft areas that need to be addressed in this bowl, but not very many. Sanding here from 60 to 180. That's the way that I like to do it. I usually stop at 180 and see if there's any fillings that need to be done before proceeding to higher grits. All right, what do you think of that? Pretty darn cool. There's only one tiny little spot in there that needs to be filled. There's a couple of soft areas here, so I'm going to hit this with the glue. We're sanding it to 180 here, but it's really good. As far as voids are concerned, this might be one of the better ones for sure. Look at the reds. Very, very cool. And when this blue resin gets polished, it should be pretty spectacular as well. All right, so Starbond thin as usual. And I'm just going to put it right down on top of that one spot. There is a risk here that, you know, this is going to stain, but I think it's important to fill up these areas that are soft, because there's a couple of soft areas. Now, of course, we're going to use the accelerator to set it. Anyway, I'm just going to carry on sanding this till 800, and then I'll bring you back when we're buffing. Here I'm using Triple E. I find it is the best method to take any fine scratches out of the resin before finish. And just making sure to clean up with methyl hydrate or denatured alcohol if you can get it. Alright, so we're going to go with Salad Bowl Finish by General Finishes. Just finishing up my stop loss bag full of it. Anyway, once I get the finish on this, I'll pop it off and we can have a look at it. This will definitely take 3 coats for sure, maybe even more than that. Check that out. Very cool. You can see it almost looks like ghost pigments. Trying to get the light to hit that correctly. Very neat. Maybe it's better if you look that way. See up through here? There's a little piece of burl suspended in there. The rest of it must have got turned away. There it is there. Very cool. So this is the largest core and its first coat. Really soaking up this finish. Being more in the center of that blank, it's a little more punky, but it's not too bad. But you can see, like, I put quite a bit of finish on there, and I mean, it just totally absorbed that whole batch of finish. The resin is really cool, that's for sure. Kind of see the awesomeness there. Very cool. It's like mountains at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, next one coming up here shortly. Well, there you go. I mean, it's nothing to write home about, but still a pretty nice little burl. Gonna have a really small foot. Awesome burl eyes in it though. Alright, let's get the little one done and then we can, I don't know, move on with our lives. Well, there you go. There is a little bit of resin, but for the most part, there's not much to it. All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow. Well, good morning. Second coat of Salad Bowl Finish by General Finishes. I'm going to do all 4 bowls the same way. And we'll just have a little look at this after I get this second coat on. something that I want to show you that's kind of really neat and kind of, I guess, maybe unexpected. So this is what I wanted to show you. It's kind of got these green highlights with the light coming through the resin, and the way the resin is, it really looks like water. Like if you were looking through water, it's not going to be crystal clear. You know, it looks like coral down in there, and that gives me an idea for, you know, another project similar to this. But this kind of unexpected highlights of green is really, really neat. All right, so we'll see you at the end when we're doing the bottom. If you're curious, that piece of wood was used to hollow out a nightlight that I did. And I just turned it around, put some rubber matting on it, and that's how I held that smallest bowl. Well, all right, let's have a last look at these beautiful bowls. So I'm really happy that Vicky wanted this. This is one of the more cooler bowl sets that I've done so far. I mean, it's just mountains in the ocean. Very, very cool. There's a fish swimming by. Very, very, very cool. That might be my best part. I like the best right there. So there's the inside. Shiny, so it's tough to get a look at. Here's the back side. So this piece ended up being 10 by 4 1/4 and is by far the best bowl for sure. That pearl just kind of coming through there a little bit really, really is awesome. Again, 3 coats of sellable finish. Still got to put 2 coats on the base of all of these bowls. This one here is pretty awesome as well. It's 8 by 2 3/4. Again, the light coming through them just kind of highlights the Burl. Very, very awesome. All of these have strong Burl figure and nice spalting in them as well. Here's the back side on it. I wasn't going to show doing all of this on the channel. So that one's really awesome. Here's the next one. It's a little portal there, resin up along the edge of it. It's 5 1/2 by 1 1/4. Not much Burl figure on the sides where the resin is. Nonetheless, very cool little bowl. There's the back side. Again, tons of Burl figure. Really, really awesome. Same thing there. You guys must be getting sick and tired of looking at this box over Burl. But it is some of the nicest Burl I've ever worked with. So, you know, and I've still got quite a bit of it to do other projects with. This one's 2 3/4 by 1/2 inch tall. Tiny little thing. And to be flat up honest with you, I ordinarily would never make anything like that. But with these nested sets, I will try to do these little bowls if they survive the coring process. So, you know, Vicky is happy with this, and she actually has decided to buy the whole bowl set, and I'm really happy. I'm glad that all those bowls are going together. It'd be a shame to see them broke up. She really only wanted 1 bowl, but you know, this is a truly awesome set. I'm really glad that it stayed together. Don't forget about our sponsors in the description down below. Sandpaper.ca, Starbond Adhesives, Designer Epoxy, and Hunter Tool Systems. All your discount codes are in the description down below. And that's it. Next week, we're going to be doing some walnut with inlays in the side. Having some issues with it, but I think it's going to be a really fantastic bowl in the end. So make sure you come on back for that. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. Of course, that thumbs up will help with the analytics, and sharing my videos on your social media platforms is 100% awesome as well. If you could do that, I would really appreciate it. I guess that's it. Till next week, take care, stay safe. Don't forget that bell. See you next time.